That's it. Like for me, like, it's going to be a year now and it has not affected me in any way. There's no complications, or it's not like my menstrual cycles have changed or anything like that. My hormones, everything is back to normal.
How much did the process cost you?
So again, there is a range. So if you're going just for egg freezing, it depends what is the initial, like how many eggs you have and what do they expect, like, because you need extra hormones if you're starting with very less count. They think that egg freezing is only for people who cannot get pregnant or who might have some problems or some other health issues, like cancer or something, that they cannot have it at a later date. But I feel that it did not have to have so much of a thing around it, so much of mystery or so much of a thing that, oh my god, no, or not all can do egg freezing. If you can afford it, and if it's something that doable, based on your schedule and all, just do it.
Hello and welcome to Fertility Tales powered by Nova IVF. This is your host Sibrat, and today we are delving into a fascinating and empowering topic: egg freezing or oocyte cryopreservation, a process that has seen significant advancements since the first human birth from a frozen egg was reported back in 1986. Joining us today is Vidya, a doctor who has experienced egg freezing firsthand. She's a doctor who has worked in the UK for 12 years and now works in pharmaceuticals. She made the decision to undergo egg freezing and is here to share her experience with us. Vidya, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Simrat. It's a pleasure for me as well. I'm really excited to be here as well to share whatever I've been through. Thank you.
Let's start at the very beginning. When did you decide to consult a fertility specialist to undergo egg freezing?
Sure. Yeah. So let me just give you a little background so it all adds up. So right now, it actually happened last year. So I am right now 43 years old. Just so that's why I was 42 when I did the egg freezing.
Okay.
So, and also a bit of personal background is that I was married before and I was divorced. So then I don't have a child before, and it was always like something that I wanted to do. Like child was always in the picture, but it was like typical, like, oh, jab hoga so hoga.
Right.
Like I didn't really plan it.
Right.
So I think when I hit 40, it was like, oh my god, I've hit the big one, and then I just kind of started thinking about it. So I've lived many years in the UK. I just moved back to Bangalore last year.
Okay.
So at that time, around that, after 40, I did do some research in UK itself. So I have heard about it because of that. And also since I'm a medical doctor myself, it is familiar, but it was not something, it's something like it's always happening to someone else. It's not
Right.
something that, I am thinking of personally doing. So when I thought about it, I did inquire, but then, UK, the logistics is different because there were only some places like central London, they were doing more, whereas where I was staying much outside. So those kind of things, and also, the healthcare accessibility was a bit difficult for me at that point. So I just thought about it. And again, it was not, then when I moved to India last year, I was talking, so Dr. Mahesh, who's my consultant in Nova IVF, he is actually known to us like a family friend. So again, I come from a family of doctors. My mom herself is a gynecologist, and we have other gynecologists in the family.
Okay.
So yeah, we do have awareness. But again, so I met him, and that was it. So he was the one. At that time, I was 42. So he was like, "Why did you wait so long?" So that was something. Then immediately we did the scan, and then he said, "Yeah, so the egg freezing would be an option."
Okay, at least you, in the initial scans, you were able to tell that you wanted to go through egg freezing?
Yes. So again, it was very dramatic. So literally, I did the scan with him, and he said, "Yeah, let's do it. If it's something you want, let's do it ASAP because it's already, age, and also in the scan, the count was much less, like the follicle count, and so that's why he said that let's do it ASAP." So I was just thinking about it, and then I went home. And I got my period. He said, "You have to come on the second day of the period." And I was like, "I've already got my period now." And I called him back. "Shall I come tomorrow?" He's like, "Okay, come tomorrow." So
meant to
literally,
be.
it was meant to be, I guess, because I could have waited. He said, "Yeah, now that you've decided, you might as well do it this cycle." So again, it was all like happened very quickly. So next day, again, I was back to the center, and then I ended up, starting the process. Yeah.
Was egg freezing always on your mind to?
Yeah, again, I think it is like, how your personal experience is, and, over a period of time. It was, again, I never thought I would have to do it. But then once I heard about it, and then I thought, yeah, why not? Like, it was something that I was ready to explore. And I think reading about it and also talking to Dr. Mahesh and understanding that it's not as uncommon as we think, or it's not. So I think definitely it was something that I wouldn't mind doing. So that was something that I wanted to try.
Vidya, can you walk us through the tests that you underwent during your fertility assessment? What were they like?
Sure, yeah. So it starts, as I said, on the second day of your period. You'll first go in. So overall, you'll have like 3 scans. So it is a whole thing would be around 12 days. So it starts with the second day of period, and then you have the scan where you actually check the follicles, like how much you have the count. Because all we're doing in this procedure is we're trying to stimulate the ovaries to produce more eggs at one cycle, whereas normally it is only one active egg that is done, whereas this is like multiple. So it is called, so artificially you're stimulating the ovary. So it is all done, like our body already produces those hormones, but now we are giving it artificially, so increase it. So the amount of hormones that the body gets is more, so it automatically starts producing
more eggs.
Yeah, so after the scan, we start with we do the first test would be AMH, that is like an indicator of your current fertility and how much. So like for example, if the normal range is normally 1.5 to 4, but I had 1.32, so I'm called a low normal. So I'm not yet low, but I was in the low normal range, and even my scan also showed less. So that's when, and then we go through all the other tests, like blood tests, like white blood cell, hemoglobin, just to check, because we are also going to have a procedure at the end, right? So we just do all the blood tests, and like that serological test. But the main important things was the scan and the AMH. Yeah. So
And AMH is a blood test?
yeah, it's a blood test.
It's
yeah,
a simple
correct.
blood
Yeah,
test where you can check your
correct.
egg count.
It is to check how currently, it's kind of a denoter to see how fertile you are. So yeah, that's how it is a current. Yeah, it's not like the exact egg count, but it would give you an idea.
An indication.
Indication.
What advice did your fertility specialist give to you after all of these tests?
Yeah, so we went through that all the tests, and he said, yeah, it is good because you're still in the low normal, because I was below 1 would consider low. So I was 1.32. So he said, yeah, sure, we better get it started. At the same time, because of my age, and also because the starting point, the follicles were very less without any treatment at the pre-treatment stage. So he said that we will see. It was not like we will definitely do the harvest. So it was like, let us see, because we'll start the stimulation and we'll see how it goes. So we have a number of tests, scans. So we see how it stimulates. Yeah. So the initial process, as you asked, it is a scan and the AMH. Yeah. Those are the main ones.
What were you going through when all of this was happening, to the tests and the scans? What were you thinking? What was your mood like? How were you managing it?
Yeah, it was, in my case, I was apprehensive because, the counts were a bit low and the scan was low. So, and also there was a regret. I'm like, why didn't I do this before? Like, why didn't I start before? Because, the age, like I felt like I could have just done this before. So I think, yeah, that was it. And then, of course, I had to do it. So I went through everything, like, yeah, the scan and everything.
I can imagine when you're going through that, you have to really be mentally strong also to be able to make that important decision in your life.
Correct. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it just felt like, I'm just being there. Or maybe as I said before, it just happened so quickly. The previous day I met the doctor, and second day I was back in the clinic. It was not like I took time to think. So I just felt, okay, this is meant to be. Let's just do it now rather than better late than never, basically. Yeah, that's how I started.
The process of egg stimulation and pickup is quite involved, typically spanning, I believe, for 2 weeks with multiple injections, daily injections, and ultrasound. Can you explain how the process was like for you?
Yeah, so how it starts is, the day 2 after the scan and all the tests, once you're good to go, because even like at that time they even did COVID tests. So just to cover everything, right? So they would do a COVID test, hepatitis B test. So just to make sure that you're also physically healthy. So all that is cleared. Then we do the scan. Then we start the injections. So injections, like I was explaining before, it's all hormones. Like the two main injections are FSH, like follicle stimulating hormone, which is the one that stimulates the ovaries and the eggs. Yeah. So that one. So these are all given every day. So again, in my case, I had 2 injections. One was this, and there's one more similar injection for the hormonal injection. And we also had tablets. So I had to take the tablets for 5 days continuously. So, I mean, in the overall thing, it was all mostly like consistency. Like, the injections had to be taken at the same time every day. So that was something that I had to make sure, because I am working full time, and it's usually morning time. It's advised. So I had to make sure that I took time, and I was going to the clinic. Luckily, because Nova had multiple centers in Bangalore, although I did my consultation in a different center, I could go to the nearest center
And get
my injection. So they transported the injections, mine, from this center. So they kept it in storage. So I would go to the clinic every morning. And then take the 2 injections. So this was continuously. So in between, we have
injections that you took?
2 injections every day. Yeah. And then they changed the injections after the second scan. So they could change the dose and things like that. So we go through that, and then there is another scan, third scan, just before the pickup. So this is it. So I think the main thing was, it was quite convenient for me because it was near my house. You can take it at home as well. Like some people are okay to take the injection at home, the ones that you can. But in my case, I prefer to go to the center. So both options are available.
And how long is this process for?
It is for 12 days. Again, it depends on the scan. So they do a scan on the 6th day. So when they check it, then based on how much the growth is, so they measure in the scan, like, how much your eggs have grown. So they measure the size it grows, and then after that, based on that, they take a call. So it's between 12th to 14th day, it will stop, and then where you actually do the procedure of the egg pickup, as they say. Yeah.
Okay.
So after the injections, and then just on the day of the pickup, we call the day of the procedures. So 24 hours before, we are also given an injection that you have to take the night before. So I would have to take it. So again, that is mandatory. If I am not taking it, then I'll not be able to go through. So that is one. And also I need to, we also have anesthetist consultation, because I'll be having under general anesthesia.
yes. Okay.
So I have a complete anesthetist pre-assessment, again, to check whether I'm fit for anesthesia. So I do that, and at that time I had gone to the center, so they also took me through what exactly happens on the day of the procedure. So I had a walk through with the anesthetist and also the nurses. After that, so on the day of the procedure, again, it was in the morning. So I went like a nil oral, they said, on previous night, so 8 hours fasting. Go in, and then like we have like a waiting area where we're like made to wait. I mean, like beds, and then you actually have where you're taken for the pickup procedure. So under anesthesia, so once the anesthesia is there, and it's a very quick procedure. Like I was in and out probably 20 minutes, and the coming out of the anesthesia was the one that took time, whereas the actual procedure was very short.
Is it a surgical procedure, or is it?
It is. I mean, they do through ultrasound. Basically, they do have to put forceps to remove. Yeah, vaginally they put it. Yeah, through the vagina. So it is very painless. Absolutely no pain. Even after the procedure, I had no complications, no side effects. It was absolutely very straightforward.
Okay.
So that's what I think. Again, I wanted to say that it is not at all what we imagine, or what we think. Something. It is very straightforward. It is very. Like you just have to basically follow the instructions and be consistent. So
and be dedicated. I think somewhere in your
dedicated,
mind,
yeah.
you keep thinking that you have to be dedicated to this cause because you're doing this for your greater good and your fertility future. I feel.
Yeah, 100%. So again, when you're planning it or when you're going, the main thing to keep in mind is just have the little bit of time, because the 12 days, you can't take if you stop the injection or anything, then the whole process. So as long as you can make that time, whatever flexibility, speak at work or something. But again, it's not like you have to take sick leave, stay at home the whole time, 12 days, nothing like that. You just carry on with your work. The only advice I was given is to avoid alcohol, and then not a hardcore gym, like a lot of impact,
Strenuous
because strenuous
exercises.
exercise. Otherwise, normal walking, day-to-day activities, it's all fine. So it was not like a big change to
In
my
your
lifestyle. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you have any side effects of the injections? What were you feeling? Because there is significant. They say there are some side effects that a person goes through because these are hormone injections that you're taking. Were there any side effects that you faced?
I mean, I think general fatigue was there. So that's why I was anyway taking it a bit easy. Like, normally I go to the gym, so I stopped that. So I was just doing, so I was a little bit fatigued. But otherwise, they did mention that you could have weight gain, bloating,
Mood
nausea,
swings.
mood swings. But unfortunately, I didn't have any of those. So it was fine. It was mostly, I would say, a general fatigue. And also, I think, again, Nova, we had some counseling as well. So that helped because it's also a little bit of anxiety, right? Because you're
Of
like, oh,
course.
what will happen? And it's like, definitely, it is a change to your routine because you're kind of thinking of injections and then thinking of going to scan and then about the egg pickup. That was the first time I had anesthesia. Like, I've never had a procedure with anesthesia. So there's always all that little bit apprehension. But I think overall, it is quite straightforward, yes.
It's wonderful to know how dedicated you were to the cause and also how easily you were able to manage this. I'm not going to say easy, I will not discount that fact, but I'm sure you were your psychological bent of mind was also positive to go through this.
Yes, yes, yeah. I think, when you're in that environment and when you're surrounded by people who are, I had the confidence when I spoke to Dr. Mahesh that, he has done many procedures like this and, you feel at ease. And also the whole setup, they were very understanding and considerate. So, in fact, the day of my procedure was Diwali. So,
Oh.
and then the entire team was working and I was feeling bad for them. That morning, 6 o'clock, they're all there because, it was Diwali, but they're like, it doesn't stop because eggs don't stop for Diwali. So we were all like just there like a normal day. So even my mom was there with me. So we went and did the procedure. And yeah, after a couple of hours, I just gave them some sweets extra for Diwali. That was it. But they're very nice. Like, so again, it's all like, it's all part, it just goes very well in the.
All right. How many cycles of this process did you undergo, and were you given any guidance on how many eggs should be frozen and how many should be picked up? Like,
Yes. So I normally the recommendation is 1 to 3 cycles. In my case, I've done 2. So I did last year, end of last year and beginning of this year. So I've done 2. So for now, we have left it just to see how it goes because I am hoping to have the child again through with these eggs. So I've just left it, but usually up to 3 cycles you can do.
let's talk about the financial aspect. I think a very important aspect where people have to make this decision also. How much did the process cost you?
So again, there is a range. So if you're going just for egg freezing, it depends what is the initial, like how many eggs you have and what would they expect, because you need extra hormones if you're starting with very less count. So and also, so for in my case, I think it was a little bit because of my count was much less, so I had to pay a little bit more. So I would say the range would be maybe starting from 1.5 lakhs to maximum of 2.
Okay.
So it could be a range, but again, there is a lot of factors that would determine what exactly you're paying for also if you're doing some extra tests and everything. But again, if you're walking to a good center like Nova IVF, you have a financial assessment before you even start the procedure. You see the doctor and then you are directly you have a separate person, a financial expert for that. So you go through everything. So it's your choice basically, whether you're able to afford it. And so you are also told like a package, like, what is included, what is excluded.
Okay.
So for example, in this, if you say the egg freezing package, so you'll do everything up to the day of the procedure, and up to 9 months you can freeze the eggs. It's all part of the package that you pay.
Okay.
And then additionally, if you want to continue, then again there is like a renewal. Like for example, I've renewed it for 3 years. Like it was like something like that. They give you options.
So you have your eggs frozen for 3 years.
That's very as of now, yes, yeah. So it's it is kind of decided. Like you can talk to the expert financial person, and then they'll give you options. Okay. So again, I think the cost would be, it is a factor that you need to do, but it's also about priorities because you can just say, okay, instead of buying that gold necklace or that investing in gold, you can invest in yourself. So
for sure, this is also investing
exactly.
in
So I
yourself.
think you can just take it like that, and again, don't let that put you off. That I'm sure they would have some options of spreading it out or something like that. You can think about it rather than let that not put you off, because it is not something that should stop you. That's what I would say.
What would be the renewal cost of keeping the eggs frozen? Like, is there a basic amount that you have to pay?
Yeah, I think again it is depends on how many eggs you already have, because it's usually it is like three in one cryotope, they call it, in one set. So then if you have multiple eggs, then the cost will be more. So approximately maybe 50,000 to 60,000 for a longer period, like 3 years.
What made you choose Nova IVF for your egg freezing journey?
So, couple of things. So, firstly, because I knew Dr. Mahesh through a family, like a friend. So, I'd wanted to get his consultation, and I knew he was working no IVF. So, I went in. But again, as a center, I did, my usual the online research, Google reviews, saw some videos, and I knew that they were well established. They're having a lot of centers, and even in Bangalore they were having centers which were accessible to me as well. So there are quite a few centers in Bangalore, and also the doctors, there were a lot of videos. So I felt convinced, and I felt confident that having a center exclusively for this, and with so much of research done, I felt confident to try no IVF. And then I went, spoke to Dr. Mahesh. Again, the clinic was well kept, well maintained. You feel good like when you
for
go to a
sure.
good center. And also, I mean, even his room, it's filled with baby photos with people holding. So I'm like, okay, there is definitely lots happening. So it was very nice, and the entire experience, even the front office staff and everybody were very friendly and helpful. So it was a good experience. Same, even the nurses you have, and our psychology counselors. So it is good, because I went very positive. Yeah, definitely, definitely a good experience, I would say. Yeah.
That's great. After you underwent egg freezing, and I'm sure there were a lot of questions from your girlfriends, from your friends about the process, etc. How did their perception change, and what were you able to talk to them about in this process?
Yeah, definitely, because I've got a very close network of friends, and of all age groups, like a lot of girlfriends who are much younger to me, and also they were all like really encouraged, and they felt very excited for me. They were happy for me that I took the decision, because they know how much I love kids. And also, I mean, even a couple of friends in UK who are like mid-30s now, and they were like, oh, give us more ideas, or tell us how it is, because even I am surprised. I know a lot of people either don't think about it, or they don't have the information that they need. So I did help. I have given the information to a few of my friends, and also it has become a topic of conversation. And I think we're normalizing it, rather than thinking of it that it's something that happens only to celebrities or some other people, like not us. So, but it's definitely getting normalized now through whatever conversations I'm having, including my family and everybody.
Perception that, I'm sorry to cut you off, but is there any perception you have to change and talk to a person and explain to them that, hey, this is normal?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to do, because like most people, they think that egg freezing is only for people who cannot get pregnant, or who might have some problems or some other health issues, like cancer or something, that they cannot have it at a later date. But I feel that it did not have to have so much of a thing around it, so much of mystery, or so much of a thing that, oh my God, no, or not all can do egg freezing. If you can afford it, and if it's something that doable, based on your schedule and all, just do it. And also, as we said, at least get have a think about it, have an assessment, because it is definitely. And the earlier you are, the younger you are, it is the egg quality is better, you have more options, number of eggs per cycle that is stimulated is more. So which means, always, in case you're trying for IVF later, it is easier to you have more, then obviously the options are more. So all that, I think it's just nicer to keep it in mind, and just realize that there are there are options, and not think of it as a either or. If I do this, I can't do this, nothing like that. You just do it as a thing, and that's it. Like for me, like it's going to be a year now, and it has not affected me in any way. There's no complications, or it's not like my menstrual cycles have changed or anything like that. My hormones, everything is back to normal. And I remember even Dr. Mahesh saying that if you do it also, the only thing you'll probably it's not like any side effect. It's only the maybe your money, like if you maybe later you decide you're not going to have a baby or something, but maybe the money. But other than that, your health is not getting affected. It's not any long-term complications. So why not? I would say that. Yeah.
Why not? Finally, Vidya, what would your advice be to women who are considering freezing their eggs for a better fertility future? And what would you like to tell them? Is there an age that this process could, start with, or what would you like to tell them?
I think I'll just tell them, just do it. That's it. Like, literally, like, I don't know why people think so much about it. I don't know why there's so much of taboo around it. Like, it is something that it is, I think we really need to, understand what is going on. And, the lifestyle has changed, our priorities have changed, but our body has not changed. It's still in the place where age matters, and then, like, fertility, there is a age related factor which nobody can control, like, so I think that awareness should be there, that there are some things in nature. It is a very natural process, right? Like, I mean, just to give you some figures, like, you're born, a female is born and with 10 lakh eggs, okay, 10 lakh to up to, it can go up to 20 lakh eggs. So you think, like, and to get pregnant you literally need one egg. So imagine the ratio. But then by the time you reach puberty, say 13, 14, when you get your puberty, you actually are left with 300,000, that is 3 lakh eggs. So it just, because there's so much of natural process, there's no reason, like, the eggs, only the good quality, so basically it's survival, so those are left. And then per cycle, like, once you start your monthly cycles, per cycle, although one egg is the mature egg, you can lose up to 1,000 eggs. So, for example, do the math. Like, I got it when I was 13, and then now I'm 43. So, in the 30 years, I've literally lost all my eggs, 300,000. So, it is possible. Like, so that's why the numbers, when you see the numbers and you understand that, and people, like, before it was a very natural process. Like, I remember somebody was saying that in India, it's never like if I get married. It is like when I get married, because everybody goes through it, and it is like it's such a part of and our previous generation, they would just get married and have a child. It was just part of the lifestyle. Whereas now things have changed. You have other priorities. People want to travel. They want to be financially independent before they settle down.
And I think egg freezing also gives you so much agency to have that control over your own fertility, to preserve and have that choice later where you would want to have a child and you can explore options.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like it kind of, takes the onus of the big decision, right? Like, rather than thinking that at 25, at 30, you may not know whether you want to have a child or not. And you don't know how you will feel at 40. You never know. People change. But at least you have this option. I think, you probably are familiar, even the Jennifer Aniston interview, she had said that, like, I wish somebody had told her, imagine a celebrity in Hollywood not in knowing about this. So there's so much. I wish, another thing, when Nova had, when I wanted to do this podcast, that was one of the reasons. I just wanted people to know, like, there is so many options, and don't need to have the taboo, or think that, oh my god, it is something, or again, like, it is something that will not happen to me. You cannot predict the future. You don't know what's going to happen. So just think about it. At least, I'm not saying that tomorrow you should do it, but at least think about it. Have a chat with a fertility clinic. There are so many options. So just, that is my first advice, I would say. At least think about it, or maybe give yourself a time. They say maximum up to 35 would be good, but you can start anytime. Just
at least get a fertility assessment done to see where you stand so that you can make an informed choice.
Exactly. That's great advice. Just think about it at least. Like, rather than just shut all the doors and say, okay, when I get married, when I do this, it's okay. Like, you don't have to. I mean, in my personal experience, it was the same. Like, when I reached 40, like I said, like, it felt like, oh my God, first I have to find the partner, then I have to try. I felt the pressure felt too much. But then when I kept the two separate, okay, I've frozen my eggs, so that's giving me some more time, and also some more, like, peace of mind that this can happen when it happens. So I think that really takes the pressure off. And I'm seeing so many people now, it's no more uncommon for people in their mid-30s, late 30s to be single or not yet thinking of a child. So why wait? Like, just think of this. And I think, again, like in India, we have that mentality that, karma, destiny, things will happen. And, so it's like, you feel like it'll happen on its own. It's not like that. Like, it will also happen, but it's okay to be having a choice and, to be in charge. Like how you're in charge of everything else. You're in charge of your finance, you're in charge of your career. So why not this? Yeah.
Sounds wonderful. I'm sure so many women out there and couples out there also can make a informed decision and their life choices, and they can plan their life with this.
Definitely. Like, if, I've lived in UK for 12 years, and I can tell you that in UK, it's not this accessible. And then in India now, there are so many centers are there, so much information is there. So why wait? Like, it's not like, okay, maybe the cost is a factor, but again, that it's something that can be worked on, or whatever the priorities. If the family is a barrier, then you can make them understand. So there are so many things, like, and if you believe it, just go for. All I'm saying is just open your mind a little bit. Just think about it. Like, it's not that tomorrow it will happen to you or it has to happen to you, but at least have that conversation or have that thought. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Vidya. This conversation has been so enlightening and also so fascinating. At the same time, it's going to help so many people make this choice and also at least open this world to information. And also, thank you for sharing your personal journey with us and letting the world know that this is something that they could also consider. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure, and I wish everybody in this journey all the best. And you're not alone. There's plenty of support out there. There are, there's online information. There are doctors. So I think just stay
Awareness is
calm.
the
But
key.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Just go with it. Yeah, definitely. Just do it. That's it.
Thank you, Vidya, for sharing your insights and experience. It's incredibly valuable for anyone considering egg freezing as an option for their fertility journey. To our listeners, thank you for joining us for this enlightening conversation on fertility tales powered by Nova IVF. Stay tuned for more episodes where we continue to explore and demystify the world of fertility treatments. As we wrap up today's insightful episode on egg freezing, it's important to understand who might benefit from this remarkable technology. Oocyte cryopreservation or egg freezing isn't just a choice. For many, it's a necessary step in preserving fertility. Women undergoing cancer treatment, such as chemotherapy or pelvic radiation, which can significantly impact fertility, often consider egg freezing. It's also a vital option for those facing surgeries that might damage their ovaries. Moreover, women at the risk of premature ovarian failure due to chromosomal issues or those with a family history of early menopause may also find security in egg freezing. This option extends to individuals with ovarian diseases who might have to get their ovaries removed or those with genetic mutations. And let's not forget about fertility preservation for social or personal reasons. Many choose to delay childbearing due to various life circumstances or career plans. Egg freezing offers them the empowerment to make choices about their reproductive future on their own terms. Whatever the reason may be, egg freezing stands as a testament to the incredible advancements in reproductive technology and offers hope and options to those facing diverse fertility challenges. To our listeners, if you find yourself or know someone in any of these situations, remember you are not alone. Advances in fertility treatments like egg freezing provide a path to parenthood that fits your unique life story. Thank you for joining us on Fertility Tales powered by Nova IVF. This is your host Simrat. Stay tuned for more episodes where we continue to explore the fascinating world of fertility treatments and share empowering stories. Take care and see you in the next episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.